Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to handle AWS S3 bucket task with using Golang or Go SDKs. As you see in this picture, this is just a pictorial overview of my demo. It depicts that I'm going to use Golang or Go code to do certain task on AWS S3 bucket. For example, how do we create a bucket with using Golang SDKs for AWS? Yeah, and also like how do we do the list of buckets, list bucket keys, upload the bucket, yeah, and also download the bucket, yeah. All right, so basically this is what I'm going to show you in this especially in this video. Okay, so before I walk you through the complete end-to-end step of this demo, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. Yeah, so with that note, let's directly jump to this video. Okay, so this video is very straightforward. Here there is no pictorial overview. So this itself is a pictorial overview saying like we gonna write a scripts in Go and we run those scripts to do these all 5 tasks at AWS S3 bucket. Okay, all right. First of all, let me take you to this Visual Studio Code. This is a Visual Studio Code where I have already written those 5 code, in the sense one code is meant for creating the S3 bucket, download, upload, yeah, list objects. Okay, so all these operations related Go file has already been created. Okay, and also I have a AWS S3 accounts. This is my AWS account where this is my Amazon S3 bucket page. Okay, so in this page only we gonna check like how do we can create a AWS S3 bucket, or list it, upload the items, download the work items from there. Yeah, so all these operations we can do from the Go. Okay, so that is what I'm going to show you here. All right, so now let me go back to the code. Okay, so here in this, see this is big code. This is my GitHub repo, that is Python hack one. Yeah, so in this one I have created a folder called AWS underscore go underscore hack underscore S3. In this one we are looking at S3 task, right? So that's the reason I have given go hack underscore S3. All right, so as the name says, create AWS S3 bucket. Okay, so for example, the scenario is you need to create an AWS S3 bucket with using Go, right? So this is the way that you need to do it. Okay, all right, so before that, let me give certain certain inputs regards to the prerequisites. Okay, so here prerequisite, you should have your system installed with the Golang or Go code. Yeah, if you are not installed and you have the Windows system, maybe you can see my previous video where I have explained everything from the scratch in regards to how you can install and configure Go in your Windows 10 or 11. Yeah, all right, so once you have installed the Golang in your system, then you need to write these scripts from the Visual Studio Code. Maybe you can use the Visual Studio or any other tools that you like. Okay, so I'm using Visual Studio Code in this one. So before before I execute this code, I know I'm going to walk you through this code anyways, but I'm going to tell you like before you run this code, you make sure that you have already configured the furthermore prerequisite. What is that? In the sense, the first one is you need to set your AWS account profile with using AWS CLI. Again, this Golang SDK again use the underlying profile of the underlying account profile, which is configured by the AWS CLI. All right, so for this case what I'm doing is I'm running AWS CLI command called AWS configure, right, and setting my profile. So this is the when I run this command, basically it does nothing but it does use my previously used credentials like secret and key IDs and location and the JSON output. Okay, so based on this one, so here you go, right? First one is access key ID, secret, the reason, output format. Yeah, all right, it has set the context of my AWS account. So now with using these profile identities or using these profile secrets, the backend, under the backend, the profile, nothing but an account profile belongs to my AWS account is already set. Now Go has a kind of a intelligence mechanism which leverage these credentials and try to communicate to AWS. Okay, so that's all. So basically this figure, this picture represents something like this, in the sense the modules or the the libraries of the Go will use the connections that needed to establish to this AWS account is nothing but belongs to the AWS CLI. All right, so hope I got hope I helped you to get the clarity here. Now Anir, one more thing, prerequisite, you make sure that you install the one more module called after installing the Golang, you should make sure that this command is ran. What does this command does? Basically go get nothing but what does this means? In the sense we are using the go commandlet, and uh, we are importing basically, or we are doing a kind of a forking from the upstream GitHub branches where actual SDKs are being written. Okay, so that is what this does. Okay, you must run this command so that all the SDKs knowledge of the AWS gets cloned or forked from this from your system. Okay, then only it will work. So before you run this one, whenever you run this one, maybe you will get a encounter, you will encounter an error. But for that you do run this command sequentially. First run this go env hyphen this one, then later run this command. Okay, so you're gonna run these two commands one after the other. Okay, all right. So once these two are run, then you should see your import modules. In the sense, you should not see any error in the import modules. So basically, what does this import? In the sense, these are nothing but these are like a Go SDK libraries being pointed from this file to the upstream branches. Nothing but AWS AWS GitHub upstream branches. All right, and in that we are also using the format module. All right, so these are all the basic information about the prerequisite. Now what I do is I'm gonna show you these task scenario one after the other. Also I will help you to walk you through the code as well. Okay, so first let's go and see how do we create a S3 bucket. All right, what I do is I will walk you through this code, and also I will run this script from this local as well. Yeah, all right, the first one is if you see the scripts, always as you are aware, Go is not a object oriented language, but it is a procedure oriented language. In the sense, you're going to package everything and you're going to call from a particular function. That is what packaging is nothing but procedure oriented. All right, you define a procedure and the code runs. In the sense, the compiler will run according to the procedure. All right, that is what the procedure oriented language is all about. Yeah, like example C. So here we are importing the package main, and also we are writing a block called import. In that one, we are importing all our Go SDKs modules, or Go SDKs libraries, you can call it as. So in this one, so if you see the path, they are being hosted under github.com AWS SDK Go, and in that one we are importing the AWS session services, and in this one we are importing only S3 because I need S3 only, right? So in this file, the file needs only S3. That's the reason we are importing this one, and again we are importing the format as well. All right, so again, how does the flow? So basically, whenever you compile this code, first one package main will run, and after that it will import the modules. And when you say package main, in the sense it will directly jump here. In the sense, the runtime will come to the function main. Nothing but in the function main will automatically invoked by virtue of this package. Okay. So when this compiler comes here, and it starts to execute this code from top to bottom, right? Every code works from the top to bottom compilation. Okay. Or it runs the code from top to bottom. So basically, the first block, we are doing is we are setting a session. What is that session? I'm going to explain this session. Okay, so if I can open this session. All right, so what we are doing is in this one we are leveraging the session dot new session with options. Okay, nothing but what actually this block does, you are using the default profile and creating a session with the AWS account. All right, and that's where the parameters is look like. Profile is belongs to default, and config equal to AWS config equal to nothing but we are setting the config to the region west 2. All right, so basically you can think it like see, if you see the the assignment operator, right? So every invocation or every API invocation in Golang will have two variables. One is session, when it goes right, in the sense whenever whenever this body runs, in the sense whenever this code runs successfully, it will assign the success part to this session variable. Let's say at the worst case it has thrown the error, then the error will be captured here. Nothing but that's what that is what the specialty of Go is, right? Because whenever you run a code, either it goes success or fail, right? Whenever there is a success, it will assign to the first variable. Whenever there is a fail, it will assign to the fail variable. And here we are setting the session. Okay, all right. So now let's go to the next one. We are checking what we are checking. Is there any error is happened? In the sense, while doing the connections, is there any error? It's again a if loop, and it's a normal if loop like Python code only. That is error if not equal to nil. Then we are printing if not equal to nil, in the sense if there is an error, then we are telling we are telling that there is some failure happened in the session, and we are automatically returning nothing but we are coming out of the execution. Right, finally we are using the session variable. If I show, this is the session variable is being used to establish the session of a service S3 bucket, right? So this is the S3 client is being achieved, okay? So here, if you compare with the other service, other coding, here, it starts with colon equal to, yeah? All right. So here we are building the S3 client, and then we are declaring certain variables. Okay, this is like a kind of a global variable or a variable within the main class. Okay, so earlier I have created certain buckets. Now let me create a new bucket called cloudquicklabs, which is my channel name, cloudquicklabs. Yeah. All right. So this is the new bucket name. I hope that this is a unique string. If it is not unique, it might throw the error. Okay. And this is the where I am invoking the function which is written above in the same file, and it consumes two parameters. One is the S3 client and the bucket name, right? And it also tracks the error. Okay. Here we are tracking because it does not return any output, so we are tracking only error only. And finally, if no error, we are printing the success message. Okay. Now let's go to the create bucket function. The create bucket function is nothing but again it's like a normal other function, but which actually creates a bucket for us. So something like this. It contains a parameter like client, and this is the S3 client. Yeah, and the bucket name of type string, and an error. Okay, so if some error is there, it's gonna return the error. Else it does not return anything, right? That is what it does. So we are leveraging the client. We are leveraging the S3 bucket client and creating the bucket with the bucket name parameters. Yeah. All right. So this is the same format we're gonna follow for the other task as well. Yeah. When I say other task, in the sense like we created a bucket, we upload the objective to the bucket, we list it, right? We download it. Okay. So basically the same format will be followed, but the APIs. Okay. So here we are using create bucket API, right? So there the bucket create bucket API will be changing based on the task that you are performing, right? All right. So this is the very simple code. Okay. This is the very simple and flexible very I can say very neatly written straightforward code. Okay. All right. So now let's run this code to create a S3 bucket. Okay. So what is the S3 bucket that we name given here? So this is the bucket name we given. Let me search if the bucket is there. Okay. This bucket is not there, so that you are aware that this bucket was not there, right? This bucket is not there. Now let's create this bucket now. So now what we do is you need to make CD to the path wherever the file Go file is been sitting. Okay. So for example, all the Go files are been sitting here, right? If you see my screen. So for that case, what I'm doing is I'm doing the CD to this path, right? And I'm running the files, nothing but I run the here there is no execution button like run, right? So for that case we have to invoke each file by command go run, right? And then you invoke the file create AWS S3 bucket, all right? And just hit enter. The file gets started to execute, all right? So all right, so it might throw error because I have not saved this this cloudquicklabs. Let's see, okay, what it does. All right. Basically, whenever the Go compiles from your Visual Studio Code or any kind of ISC or any kind of IDE integrated development environment, right? It generally takes some time. Okay. All right. If it successfully creates, it prints the message successfully created. If not, it tells could not create the bucket. Okay. So let's see what does it returns. All right. And parallelly we can see here if the bucket got created. All right, so it's still creating. It's bit why it is slow here in the sense because this is Windows. Okay, when you are invoking Go code from the Windows, it does takes this much time. Yeah, so that is for your information. All right, so let's wait for here. Here you go. Right, successfully created a bucket. What does this mean? It means that bucket has been created. All right, so let's go to the bucket. Earlier it was not there. If I refresh, we should see the bucket. Here you go. Congratulations. Okay, so you have created a bucket, AWS S3 bucket with using Go language. Okay, so this is a code which will not only help you to understand how to consume the AWS SDK for Go, but also you are learning the Go code as well. Okay, while using the modules as well. All right. So first one, we create a bucket. Now let's go to the next task. All the task flow are same, but the functionality keeps changing here. Okay, the first one, next one, we go to the list S3 bucket. Okay, so now we see something different. Okay, here again the flow is same. I will quickly walk you through this code, right? So it contains main and one list function. Okay, so we are again here we are inputting the same modules as I explained earlier, and here one function is least bucket. Okay, earlier we saw the create bucket, now the least bucket. It uses the same syntax in the sense, it will use the S3 client. If you see, it uses the S3 client. Yeah, and also it uses the least output bucket in the sense. Yeah, so basically we are doing nothing but we are invoking the S3 bucket, and we are invoking the S3 bucket client and running a API invocation called least bucket. Okay, so if you see the error, right, so basically we are using the client. In this one we are least bucket where the parameter is null, and the return type is pointed to either result or error. If there is no result or error, then return nil. If there is a result, then return results. First result the result. First return the result. Okay. So that is what the function least bucket is all about. Now we go to the main. In the main, right? Again, it uses the same format where first block is a session one. You are establishing the session. Okay, account session, that is with using the default profile, and then checking if the session is successfully established or not. If not, you are coming out. Then you are using the S3 bucket session. And here is the thing that you are calling it, but you are invoking the list buckets, and after that checking if any error. If no error, then you are printing the all the bucket present in our AWS S3 bucket, or in our AWS S3, in our AWS account S3 service. All right, so let's run this command now. Now list time. I'm gonna change the file name called list. Okay, list S3 bucket. Just click enter. It should return all the S3 buckets. Okay, so while it runs, I will go back and I will show you. Right now it has 3 buckets. All right, you see there are 3 buckets, and I expect this to return 3 buckets as well. Okay, so that is where the aim of this run as well. Okay, so after list bucket, let's go and check the another task as well. Okay, all right, so here you go. Right, it has successfully returned 3 buckets. If I see, right, font bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, right, so it has returned all the 3 buckets. If you compare here, right, face collection bucket, learn go SDK cloud 23 and cloudquicklabs, right, so it has returned list all S3 bucket. Code also went successfully. Now let's go to the next one. The next command is yeah, so let's see list list all S3 bucket, and nothing but this script gonna retrieve all the objects present in a S3 bucket. Okay, so for this case, let's use this dummy bucket. So in this bucket I have 2 objects. If you see, one.jpg, gg.png, right, and the bucket name is cloud hyphen ending with hyphen cloud 23, right, so hyphen cloud 23. Okay, so before I run this command, let me quickly walk you through this code as well. It follows the same syntax, right? It has the package, and you are importing all those modules, and then this is the function being written to list the items. Okay, so in the parameter, right, in the parameter you see S3 bucket client, bucket name and prefix, and also you are also passing the multiple parameters, that is a list object version 2 output as well, right? So in this one, we are using the client and list object. Okay, so okay, and in this one we are passing the bucket name and the prefix name. Okay, and finally returning the results, right? The result is being returned first, or else nil will be nothing but if nil is nothing but if there are no work items. Okay, or if there are no files within the buckets. Okay, now again we go to the traditional method. So always, right, whenever there is a compilation or whenever you run this code, the code does these 2 jobs first, and when it says package main, in the sense the flow will come here, and the rest all flow will the rest code will run from the top to bottom of the flow. Okay, so here again we are setting the session here, right? We are setting the session here, and then if no session, if there is no session, then we are coming out. If the session is there, we are going ahead. We are loading the S3 client, and the variables, the variable nothing but bucket name and the prefix names are being prefix name is nothing but if you have a subfolders, right? Since I don't have any subfolder, I am keeping it null or nothing but something else, and then we are invoking the list bucket function which we saw above, basically passing the client bucket name and the prefix name, right? If there are no error, then we are finally listing all the items present in the bucket, nothing but objects, right? So again, right, let me tell you one very interesting thing about the Go, right? So Go does not has any for loop, while loop, do while loop. Yeah, basically it has only one loop called for loop. Okay, with using the for loop, you can achieve all those do while loop, while loop. Yeah, there are many loops, right? So basically, so for here is the only one loop for everything, right? And that's what the specialty of the Go is, right? So here what we are doing is, whatever the content present in the bucket object dot content, we are iterating through the each items, yeah, for each item, right? We are, and finally we are listing the keys, right? And that is what we are doing. All right, so now I have I have walked you through the code. Let's run this code to list the key objects, S3 key objects, yeah, S3 or S3 bucket objects. So run this code. Okay, so what does this should return? It should return these two files, okay? That is one.jpg, ggg.png. Here you go, right? It has successfully returned, right? The name is this one, last modified is this one, right? We are retrieving the attribute of those objects as well, right? So we have seen three code now. Let's go to the other one. Yeah, let's upload something very interesting to the S3 bucket, right? So that's a fourth, and finally I'm going to show you about the download as well. Now it is time to upload something to our S3 bucket which we created just now. So if I go back and I copy this, so in this bucket I don't have anything, so this bucket is completely empty now. I'm going to upload something in this file or in this bucket. How do I do that? I'm going to show you this one. I will remove this bucket because my bucket is something else. This is my bucket now. Now what I'm doing is, so in this path, right, in this path there is a one.jpg file which I need to upload into this file, right? So this is a one.jpg file. I'm going to upload to that bucket, right, to this bucket. So how do I do that? I'm going to do that by running this script. So before I run this script, let me explain this code again. The syntax of the code is same like I explained earlier. It contains package. We are importing so here, one more thing one more very important thing, that is, we are importing the OS module of the Go, right? And finally the SDKs related modules and the formatting as well. These are the importing modules in this code. And here, we are doing a function called upload file to the S3 bucket, right? The syntax is something same, right? So if you see, uploader, it has a uploader, file path, bucket name, file name, blah, blah, right? What does it basically do? We are using the OS module and we are, opening the file, getting the file first, then the defer close, okay? Yeah, basically, file close, in the sense first we open and find out the path of the file. That is what we are doing. And pointing to that path, we are uploading that file into the S3 bucket, right? That is what we are doing. So basically, this is how we write the code to upload a file into the AWS S3 bucket. Now finally go to the traditional function.main file. Nothing but this is the place where this compiler runs. Yeah, it contains a session, checking the session, and we have input. We have hard coded the variables like bucket name and uploader. Yeah, so we are creating a uploader session, then the file name to upload. We are invoking the uploader function and finally checking the output of the function. If error, else we are telling successfully uploaded. Yeah, all right, so that's a quick walk through this code. Anyways, this file will be shared in GitHub repo and the GitHub repo link will be shared in video's description. Please find this file from there and you can try it from your system as well. Yeah, all right, meantime let's go quickly and and run the script. All right, so upload and let's do a upload. So what I did is I'm invoking the upload AWS S3 bucket.go file from this from this Visual Studio Code itself, right? Here you go, message is successful. Let's see if the file is uploaded here. Here you go, the file is uploaded. In the sense, this file is now uploaded. Okay, now it is time to download it. What I do is I will delete this file from this folder because the download will happen in the same folder. Okay, so if you see my screen, so currently we are in the same path like AWS Go hacks S3 bucket, okay, which is nothing but this is the same path. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is in the next scenario we are going to download the same file which we have uploaded, right? Where do we download? We're going to download in the same file, same present working directory, right? The present working directory is something like this. Okay, this is the path, and in this path we are going to download the file. All right, and this is the file. Okay, this is the download AWS S3 bucket.go file which will help us to download an object from AWS S3 bucket. Okay, So in this one, I'm going to change the file name again because my S3 bucket is something different. I will copy this and I'm going to change the bucket name here. Yeah, and save it. And finally, you're going to download one.jpg file. Okay, so that is the basically parameters that you are going to set. Anyways, I'm going to walk you through again. So now what I'm doing, I am walking you through this download AWS S3 bucket.go, right? Again, we are importing the same modules as upload, right? And in the download function, we have written very lengthy function, so read it carefully. In this one, basically, we are doing nothing but, we are uploading to the S3 bucket, right? So if you see here, we are using the here downloader, API. Bucket name is the input, key is the input, yeah. And we are creating a create OS create key in the sense, but we are when you say download, in the sense the file will be downloaded from the source to the local laptop, right? So you have to create OS key as well, right? Because that file has to be saved in the current present working directory. Yeah. So if there any error, then we are terminating the function. Then defer file dot close, in the sense we are closing the file which is being opened here. And this is the function, this is the invocation of the API which is actually downloads the S3 bucket key, right? So it contains a file name, yeah. So where's the file name? So this is the file name, right? And the get object input, in the get object input, this is the bucket name we are giving, and this is the key name we are giving. Yeah. All right. And finally we are returning the if any error, because this is a download, right? All right. In the main, so the first flow, right? The flow will start from here always. Main function. Yeah, that's the reason it's a main function. It's again traditionally here. We are setting the session, checking the session, setting the variables like bucket, downloader, key, and invoking the function downloader, right? And checking if there are any error while invocation, and finally check telling if there are no error, what does that mean? It tells that you have successfully downloaded the file. All right, now let's run the download file code. So let me run the download file code and hit the enter. Yeah, the command is go run download AWS S3 bucket. Here you go, the file is downloaded. Okay, let's go and check the present working directory. Here you go, the file is downloaded, right? So here you go, the this has been just now modified, right? If you see the my time, so it is just now modified, in the sense the file is downloaded successfully. Yeah. All right, I have successfully shown you all the things to be shown in this video, right? So the target was something like, with using the Go, how do you perform AWS S3 bucket task, like create a bucket, list the bucket, list bucket keys, or list bucket objects, upload a file to the bucket, download a file from the bucket. Okay, so all those tasks I have shown you from end, from the scratch to end with all explanation. Okay. All right, so with that note, I have successfully shown you the things to be shown. Yeah. Finally, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. Yeah. So with that note, thank you. Thanks a lot.